scare the living shit out of the Indiana Fever. So Indiana Fever, and it's been my belief that they will freaking fire everyone. And I do believe this. So if you're a Fever fan and you're hoping they'll keep Caitlin Clark, it's my belief that when push comes to shove, there's no way they can let her get away. They will fire everybody and start over. That's my belief. I cannot imagine the level of fumbling the bag that would have to be done.
What happens when Gatorade tries to ride the Caitlin Clark wave, but forgets who's actually holding the board? You get a full-blown PR nightmare sprinkled with electrolytes. The WNBA probably thought they were cooking up a marketing win, but instead, it feels more like tossing a no-look pass straight into a dumpster. And fan reactions? Savage. Fever management might want to start meditating because the polls are merciless. Meanwhile, Caitlin casually racked up $660,000 like it was pocket change. Strap in. This drama is about to get messy.
Clark meant to the WNBA?
Everything. She's changed the dynamic and history forever for women.
I see a lot of young girls here today, and I see how inspired they are, and she's even gotten me back into basketball.
I think she has brought attention. She did it for us. We had never watched, and we have become big fans.
I don't think her contributions have been extreme as what people think they are. I think the league in itself has been getting better, and that's really what we should be focusing on.
I think she's brought a lot of attention to the WNBA, and it's needed.
I think it's great. I actually grew up watching the WNBA, so it's really exciting to see a resurgence.
She meant everything. I never watched it before.
If she leaves the Fever, I'm out too. That's not a whisper anymore. It's practically a chant echoing through the league. Caitlin Clark isn't just any rookie. She is the league right now, pulling in an army of fans who probably didn't even know the Fever existed 6 months ago. Indiana might need to lawyer up, because if this turns into a custody-like showdown, Caitlin's walking away with a huge chunk of the fan base.
And there's enough votes here. This is a good test to see how bad this would be. Swag put this out, and it's starting to make the rounds. I voted. Okay, Fever fans, answer this. If Caitlin leaves Fever, would you still support the Fever? We got 1,145 votes here. Nope, my bags are packed is far and away leading.
And let's be clear, these aren't casual onlookers. These are full-on believers, initiated into the cult of Caitlin. They don't care about zip codes, jerseys, or team colors. She's the logo, the GPS, the destination. Wherever Caitlin goes, they follow. It's not loyalty to the Fever, it's loyalty to her. Respect for the other players? Sure. But the heartbeats for Caitlin.
We're letting her cook. Me dinner.
I'm buying Powerade stock.
Is it a play on, like, women shouldn't? No, they didn't do it on purpose. There's no way. How you came up with this and not in the back of your minds, like, oh, they're just gonna be like, oh, it's women. She just needs to cook. Didn't think about that in the PR room. I'm a big advocate of.
When it comes to picking between a franchise and the phenom who made them care, please, it's CC or bust. Fever fans are sweating, but not because Caitlin is underperforming. She's crushing it. The worry is she's getting held back internally. She's the one driving ratings, selling out arenas, and bringing headlines, basically putting Indiana back on the map. And somehow, her own coach seems oblivious.
NBA players make 50% of revenues. WNBA players make 9%. And now the merch sales are up 500%, and attendance is up, 40%. So they're going to get a raise. There's no question. And I don't really care that the previous 25 years, they didn't make a lot of money or lost money. I don't care. They're in the middle of a negotiation, and they're on a heater. So it doesn't really matter. I've said this before. I made an investment for 5 years, and it lost money. And I got about 6 months left in the investment. And in the last 6 months, they started making cash. I'm not bailing on the investment. I want to finally get my money back. So they're going to get a raise. They're finally turning a corner. But and negotiating in any business is all about current momentum. It's not about 12 years ago. It's about current momentum.
The strategy looks less like maximize our superstar and more like, let's see what happens. And the results? They're losing, and not in a cute way. Post-game, the script repeats itself. Some players can airball a dozen shots and still get praise. Caitlyn hits one contested 3 in crunch time. Cue the lecture. Fans aren't blind. They see the double standard. They're not going to stick around to watch management burn the golden ticket. The chorus repeats, "If Caitlyn leaves, we leave."
Clark is a media driver. She is a ratings driver. Think about the NBA post Magic and Larry, the NBA post Michael Jordan, tennis post Serena Williams, golf post Tiger Woods, right? There are certain athletes that drive the sport more than others. And that's not to take away from anyone else drafted tonight. That's not to take away from the other incredible superstars in the WNBA right now.
Because this isn't just fandom, it's migration. Caitlyn Clark is the monarch butterfly, and her followers are already packing their bags. They don't care if her next stop is New York, Vegas, or some expansion team with a weird name. Wherever she lands, they'll be there. And it's not because of league promos or hashtags. One Iowa kid with Curry-level range and charisma turned women's basketball into must-watch TV. Ignoring that? Like paving over gold. Fever management better wake up before investors and fans flip the script.
T-shirts don't bother me, but why do you take a shot at the Golden Goose, Caitlyn Clark? You guys were flying before she arrived on one of those airlines that made you pay for a cup of water. One of those airlines that is the planes are the color of a highlighter. Now you're flying private. Okay, if you're in a band and you're staying at the Motel 6 and you add a band member and now you're at the Ritz-Carlton, keep your issues to yourself.
And here's the dark twist. It's starting to feel intentional. Like someone behind the scenes said, keep the rookie in check. Don't let her shine too bright. Veterans get touches, even with lottery-level stats, while Caitlyn gets sidelined. Fans are screaming, let her cook. But every time the kitchen heats up, someone snatches the pan away. Toss in icy press conferences, weird body language, and bizarre late-game calls, and the fan base is fuming. You can't plaster her face everywhere, call her the future, and then treat her like a cameo. That's not nurturing, it's sabotage. If she bounces, the WNBA could see the biggest fan exodus since streaming killed cable. 1 week, packed arenas. The next, crickets.
23. I'm going to pass on that question, actually. WNBA star Caitlyn Clark is transforming women's sports. She fills arenas night after night, and her games have smashed TV viewership records. And if you watch Clark play, well, it's not hard to figure out why. She makes deep three-pointers look easy. And like all stars, wants the ball when the game is on.
And don't mistake this for exaggeration. Fans are already plotting her next landing spot. Group chats, maps, Zillow tabs. They're prepping for Caitlyn's next chapter, like it's a national election. Watch parties are planned in cities she hasn't touched yet. Why? These fans aren't loyal to Indiana. They're loyal to her. And if Fever management thinks that's negotiable, they're about to get schooled. Caitlyn Clark isn't a player to them. She's the product, the franchise, the brand. Without her, Indiana fades into obscurity. With her, every city she visits becomes the epicenter of women's basketball.
I think it's like something where if you are a star in the WNBA, like Caitlyn Clark, she's probably one of the few people that anybody you can mention to somebody that knows sports will know Caitlyn Clark. Yeah. She's getting a ton of deals. Coke, Gatorade, you name Nike deals. Now, I know a lot of the other players, like if you're the 12th person on the team, you're probably not making that much money, but I just feel like coming out like this, what are they going to bargain with? What is their like thing they're coming with that's going to change their salary? And that's what I was trying to figure out. I couldn't understand because they're already rev sharing. The NBA already gives them money, compensates for the loss they make every year because they lose 50.
So no, fans aren't being dramatic. They're being smart. They gave Indiana their attention, money, and time because of Caitlyn. She leaves, they leave. This isn't a trade, it's survival. Caitlyn isn't a side character, and minimizing her is a self-inflicted disaster. Lose her, and it's not just a setback, it's an extinction-level event for the franchise. Stephanie White's approach looks less like developing a superstar and more like micromanaging her into invisibility. Fans aren't buying it anymore.
Mel Bird. She had Van Slugenhagen on her. She was like, I'm offended that y'all have white defensive players guarding me, and she put her in the torture chamber. You should have known from her little face that she didn't want this matchup from the beginning. Caitlin reminds me of what Dame does. If anybody ever noticed, her first shot always a three. First quarter, second quarter, third. She sets the distance on her first shot, so you have to guard her there. Now she can do whatever she wants to do. She's playing a chess game. That's what Dame does. He starts his game off. He's gonna shoot a deep-ass three to...
Because Caitlin Clark wasn't made to ride in the backseat. She's not a sidekick for a dusty playbook. She's the engine, the GPS, the playlist, the spark plug, everything. Yet game after game, it feels like Stephanie White is putting up cones on the highway, forcing detours. At this point, it's not even about X's and O's. It feels personal, like an outsider trapped in a system that doesn't want her fingerprints all over it. But here's the kicker. Caitlin isn't just cooking the meal. She's paying the rent, stocking the fridge, and still being told to stay in her lane. That's not strategy. That's resistance.
WNBA before Caitlin Clark and the WNBA after Caitlin Clark. Describe these two worlds.
Oh, entirely different. 180, you know. The WNBA before started in 1997, the year after the Atlanta Olympics, and was launched into a time when women's sports was still not taken seriously by a lot of, people. And some of those same guys now, if we want to talk about before and after, some of those same guys, or guys like them, are the ones buying the 22 jerseys, wearing them to games, Major, but also to the grocery store and to the gas station. It is now cool to be a WNBA fan, and it is cool to love Caitlin Clark, and the spotlight that is finally shining on these players.
And yet, fans from every corner, teens, retirees, diehard hoop fans, even people who didn't know the rim was 10 feet, are screaming the same thing. Let her shine. Caitlin isn't another roster name. She's a movement. The WNBA's golden goose, turning every game into viral content. Marketing would have her live stream her morning coffee. But on the court, half the time she's background scenery. And we're supposed to shrug like that's normal? Please.
About the Olympic stuff.
On the night that I broke the news, someone read me the list that Caitlin Clark was not on the Olympic team, which was June 7th. She had just had 30 points and 7 threes against Washington in an amazing game. And bottom line on this is they did not want her on the team. There was either a sense that she needs to wait her turn. They wanted to give Diana Taurasi the going away present. Name another time when you would ever give an athlete a going away present with an Olympic berth. Outrageous. So Caitlin said, hey, it's okay. And in interviews, she said, it's all right, I'll make it the next time. Well, in the book, I have a wonderful anecdote from
Stephanie White can trot out every cliche. Trust the process. Stick to the plan. Everyone has a role. But Caitlin's role seems to be get shackled. And it isn't working. Restricting her isn't creating wins. It's chaos. Turnovers, miscommunications, endgame collapses that look like bad improv. Fans see it instantly. Basketball 101. Play through your star. Yet the Clark experience is being shredded under my way or the highway.
I was mesmerized by her. And I will tell you this. This was the greatest performance I've ever seen in the NCAA tournament, girl or boy. Greatest performance.
On this biggest stage?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because rarely does a game like this live up to its hype.
Yeah.
Rarely do you have the two superstars play like superstars, because you got to understand the scout report is geared to stop you. All the hype coming into this is going to be people who've never watched a girls' basketball game watched. A lot of people watched for the first.
And let's be honest, that would be fine if White's way delivered championships. But it doesn't. It's producing blown leads and meltdowns simultaneously. Mid-season, the story is clear. Caitlin didn't join a team built to lift her. She joined a system trying to shrink her. But here's the twist. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player. She's a revolution. Revolutions don't wait politely. They break through walls. And if Indiana doesn't wise up, they'll end up a trivia question in her documentary. Maybe White wanted a safer, smaller option, but she got a phenom. Lightning in sneakers. And no X's and O's can stop what's coming. Caitlin Clark isn't waiting for permission anymore. She is the permission. The only question, will Indiana embrace it or keep dimming their only light?